LV Hunter. A little bit of history on me. I'm from the Flint area, born and raised. Went to Flint Northern High School, Saginaw Valley State University, student there, communications minor in marketing, but now I'm back in Flint and I'm brewing up the best coffee that produces good conversation. I care a lot about conversation because I believe we need to have on-purpose conversations, not just idle, right? We have enough of those online, but I think having on-purpose conversation changes culture, changes thinking, and also can change for a better outcome. I love coffee. I started drinking coffee with my grandmother when I was in elementary school, and that was just our bonding, and she was my best friend. And I love coffee, and I would drink coffee in high school, all throughout college. It was always that thing that I always had, but I didn't pay attention to it. But when I started to learn about coffee and how it can actually taste good, I wanted to learn more, and I think coffee brews conversation. I think when you have that warm cup or maybe that cold cup of coffee, it's that conduit to bring good conversation. When I was in the 6th grade, true story real quick, I wrote on my journal every day I was going to be in the NBA or an entrepreneur because of that's what I saw growing up. Spent a lot of time watching the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys, but I also saw my dad do hardwood flooring, saw my mom do the books. So I'm not 6'6", and I didn't make it to the NBA. So now I have to fall back on my plan of being an entrepreneur. The biggest thing that's hindering me in business right now is several things, but I would say more mentorship on how to really structure and package this business so it can be sustainable and move on to the next level. With being a one-man band, I'm really just dominating where I'm good at, and I'm actually not in a place where I can fully develop those areas where I'm weak in. So I think having that mentorship, having that partnership that can come in with a new skill set, I think we can take the business to the next level.
Y'all look real nice today. How y'all doing? Okay, all right. Well, my name is Lev LV Hunter. I'm from the Daily Brew Coffee, and I come from a long line of successful entrepreneurs in my family. So my grandfather was an entrepreneur, and he started Hunter and Sons Flooring, construction, and also trucking. So he had 3 businesses going on, and he passed those businesses on to my dad. And my dad and his siblings, they carried on the business and the family name of Hunter and Sons Flooring. So when I was young, I had the opportunity to go to work with my dad as he laid the foundation of hardwood floors, but I didn't know then that he was laying the foundation for my business and for my life now. But when I was 9 years old, 2 weeks before my 10th birthday, my father passed away. So I didn't have that fatherly wisdom and advice to actually pass on to me to become an entrepreneur. So I had to know about my entrepreneur journey, a totally different route. And I'm still thankful for that. But just like any son in business, you want to make your dad proud, right? So when I was younger, my mom would send me to Arkansas, a place called Kibla. Probably never heard of it. It's really small, but that's where my family's from. And I spent time with my grandmother, and she would cook breakfast every morning, like on that long wood table that seats like 6 or 7 people. And we would sit there and have a homemade meal, right? And she would have coffee, and I saw her put sugar in it. So you know when you're a kid, you see sugar going in something, you want it too, right? So she would allow me to have some of that coffee, which really birthed, again, the business that I have here today. And we honor her in our business. So that's where our first roast, Granny's Roast, comes to play, is those times being in Arkansas. But what she would do after we had breakfast, we had to go serve other people. We had to serve some of the elders in the community with breakfast and clean up. And she would say, hey, boy, sweep that up, get that up. And what it really taught me was how to serve, which is one of our core values in our business here and part of my personal life, right? The quickest way to promotion is through serving. So I bring that same aspect to my business here at the Daily Brew. And we want to serve up on purpose, intentional conversations. I believe that if we have great conversations, we can bring forth change. And here in our climate here in America, we need some good conversations, right? We really need to have that dialogue. And what's the great conduit is going to be coffee. So in a full year of being in business, what I've done is show up at events and do pop-ups as a pop-up barista and brew coffee and really share those conversations, get to know people, and really get to share my love and passion with coffee for them. In that time, I come to find that customers had this feedback like, yo, I like your coffee, it's good, I like tea. I'm like, I don't have tea. right? People are like, the coffee's good, I'm supporting you, but do you have any tea? And I'm like, no, I don't have any tea. Well, what about a latte? And I'm like, I don't have a latte, but I got Granny's roast, right? And so throughout the year, I found that the customers really want to see us have lattes at events and also to be able to have that tea. And we're looking at first quarter 2019 to introduce some tea. One of my favorites so far that I've tried and tested is this like green peach apricot tea. It's amazing, right? Sounds pretty good. So I see you shaking your head. You like that, huh? She's like, yeah, I want some. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. But what I want to secure is the ability to continue to spread those on-purpose, intentional conversations. So when I'm at events, I can touch more people if I have tea and if I have the lattes. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm getting close to my time. Is the business scalable? Sure. I can teach you how to be a pop-up barista, and we can keep it moving in the direction to where you can take the same format and be successful. But at the end of the day, we just want to be able to just share those common grounds over a great cup of coffee, those shared experiences together.
Thank you, Lev. All right, we're going to let our lady judges get started first. So, Chris, let's start with you, and then we'll move on to Wendy next.
Well, I love your presentation because I love your passion.
Thank you.
And I love that you're passionate about people. Yeah. But there's so many, coffee shops, and I realize you're a pop-up. But really, what sets you apart from your competitors?
What really sets me apart from my competitors is the ability to be mobile. Number one, and we do see that they're able to be mobile here tonight, but also that conversation piece, right? So when you go to a specialty shop or a big chain, typically they ask you your name, and they give you a drink, and you're going out the door. But that conversation piece, those intentional conversation, that wisdom that you and I can share, I can get to know you, and you can get to know me, and you're not just coming back for coffee, because you can get coffee anywhere. But with the Daily Brew, you're going to get that conversation piece where we become friends, and we may even become family, and you may invite me over for some coffee and some breakfast. I'll bring the bacon.
Well, you are definitely contagious, to Chris's point, that's for sure. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Great idea. I guess, where do you sell, I guess, or what does that look like? And then how would you acquire customers?
So I've been very fortunate to work in radio for over 8 years, so having a lot of influence here locally that has translated into my business. So our business model now is selling coffee online, and we will sell the tea and that thing, but also the event-based business has been Invite. So on my way here, I secured a moment to go and brew coffee and tea at a doctor's office, right? So we're looking to do more business to business in 2019. So again, just knocking on doors. That hustle, just going knocking on doors, say, hey, here's a sample. Can I come in? Do you mind if I talk to your staff? Maybe there's a training that's going on. And typically we all here, we have our jobs. You go to a training, you just grab a cup of coffee and you move on. What I'm looking for is to really make that contact with business to business.
All right, David, go ahead.
Yeah, really interesting on the passion. One of the things I think I like hearing is the first thing you said you needed help with was mentorship instead of capital, yes. And that's fantastic. Sure. It's super important. What are you selling more, coffee or your conversation?
I'm selling both equally. And here's why. What I found out throughout my first year is that the people who I've come in contact with are not really heavy coffee drinkers. And what I mean by that, you got your McDonald's, you got your Speedway, and you just grab and chug, right? And you dilute it with cream and sugar, right? So what I do with the coffee base is really an educational point while I'm brewing your cup, because some people haven't seen a pour over. Some people don't understand the difference between single origin or a blend. So I'm able to have that conversation with them to educate them about coffee, thus have them come back for more. Or when they do go somewhere else, they're educated enough to get that information. So the conversation piece, we do at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. We do a live stream on Facebook, on purpose, intentional conversations. So we've had motivational speakers come in. We've had doctors come in, like Ask the Doctor for our audience to be able to do. Also financial advisors to try to teach us how to better manage our money and just different areas, people telling their story. So we do that 8 a.m. every weekday on the Facebook page, The Daily Brew Coffee.
Perfect, thanks.
You can like the page.
We got time for one more, Mark.
Yeah.
So in a typical day, a successful day, what do your sales look like? What do your revenues look like?
I can give you an example of today.
Sure.
What I was almost late for, sold 5 bags, and where I was delivering them in person here locally, and also having 2 sales online. So roughly, we can see within about a month, we can see anywhere from 15 to 30 bags sold in a month, right? And then if we go to an event, there's a payment where you can either pay for me to be there,
Okay.
or you have to pay for the coffee that we use or the product that we use.
So you do charge for
Yes.
your appearance.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
give me a month of revenue. What does it look like?
A month of revenue, and that's without an event. I can see anywhere from $250 to about $500 in sales through our website, and also probably another $100 to $120 cash sales in person.
All right, thank you.